Let's start with the obvious. Saying goodbye to your twin flame, especially the one who's been running, feels like someone just handed you a jigsaw puzzle with half the pieces missing. You're left staring at the box, wondering how the picture is supposed to come together when it feels like the most important parts are gone. And here's the kicker. This isn't just any puzzle. This is the cosmic kind, where the pieces are your emotions, your dreams, and maybe even a little bit of your sanity. Here's the thing about twin flames. They're not your average soulmates. Nope, they're the soulmate equivalent of a double espresso. Intense, electrifying, and guaranteed to keep you up at night. They're the person who feels like home, even when they're miles away. The one who mirrors your soul so perfectly that it's equal parts beautiful and terrifying. And when they run, oh, it's a special kind of heartbreak. It's not just losing someone you love, it's losing a part of yourself. It's like trying to hold on to smoke. No matter how tightly you grip, it slips through your fingers. And yet, here you are, standing in the aftermath, wondering what the hell just happened. But let's get real for a second. Cutting ties with your twin flame runner isn't just an act of courage, it's an act of rebellion. You're saying, I love you, but I love me more. And that's revolutionary. It's like breaking up with the universe itself, telling it, I don't care if this is part of some grand cosmic plan, I'm choosing me. And while it might feel like you're standing on the edge of a cliff, ready to free fall into the unknown, here's the secret. You're not falling, you're flying. It just doesn't feel like it yet. Now, let's talk about the mystery of it all. The twin flame journey is like a cosmic game of hide and seek, except no one told you the rules. 1 minute, you're chasing them. The next, you're running from yourself. And just when you think you've figured it out, the universe throws you a curveball or a cosmic dodgeball. Either way, it hurts. But here's the thing. The mystery isn't there to torture you. It's there to teach you. Every twist, every turn, every tear is part of the process. It's like the universe is whispering, trust me, I've got this, even when it feels like it's got absolutely nothing. And let's not forget the irony. Cutting ties with your twin flame is like breaking up with your favorite band. You know they're good for you, but you also know they're bad for you. It's a paradox wrapped in a riddle. But here's the thing about paradoxes. They're not meant to be solved. They're meant to be experienced. So while you're sitting there, wondering if you made the right choice, remember this. There are no right choices, only choices that lead you closer to yourself. So, what happens now? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The truth is, no one knows. Not your best friend, not your therapist, not even the psychic you found on Etsy. Though let's be real, their predictions were weirdly specific. What you do know is this: you're standing at a crossroads, and the path ahead is yours to choose. It's scary, it's uncertain, and it's probably going to involve a lot of tissues and ice cream, but it's also yours. And that, dears, is where the magic begins. So, remember, this isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one where you're the hero, the author, and the love interest all rolled into one. And while the road ahead might be bumpy, it's also beautiful. Because the real twin flame journey isn't about finding them, it's about finding you. And you, my friend, are worth every step. let's get real for a second. Cutting ties with your twin flame, especially the one who's been running, feels like someone reached into your chest, grabbed your heart, and decided to play a game of hot potato with it. You're left standing there, empty-handed, wondering if you'll ever feel whole again. And here's the kicker. It's not just a breakup. Oh no, this is so much more. It's like losing a part of yourself, a piece of your soul that you didn't even know was missing until it was gone. You're grieving, but it's not just the person you're grieving. It's the connection, the potential, the cosmic what if that's now a cosmic what now. You know that feeling when you're watching a movie and the protagonist makes a decision that you know is going to blow up in their face. You're yelling at the screen, "Don't open that door. Don't trust that guy. Don't eat the suspicious-looking sandwich." But they do it anyway, and you're left sitting there, popcorn in hand, muttering, "I told you so." Well, cutting ties with your twin flame is kind of like that, except you're the protagonist and the movie is your life. You made the decision, and now you're sitting in the aftermath, wondering if you just ruined everything or saved yourself. Here's the thing about grief. It's messy. It doesn't follow a neat little timeline or come with a user manual. 1 minute, you're fine, sipping your coffee, scrolling through memes, and the next, you're sobbing into your cat's fur because you heard a song that reminded you of them. Grief isn't linear. It's more like a roller coaster designed by a mad scientist who thought it'd be hilarious to add loops, twists, and the occasional freefall. And just when you think you've reached the end, nope, there's another drop. But here's the secret. Every twist, every turn, every tear is part of the healing process. You're not broken, you're recalibrating. And let's talk about the guilt. Oh, the guilt. It's like that uninvited guest who shows up to the party, eats all the snacks, and then refuses to leave. You start second-guessing yourself. Did I do the right thing? Should I have waited longer? What if they were about to come back? Here's a radical thought. What if you did the right thing for you? What if cutting ties wasn't an act of abandonment, but an act of self-love? Crazy, right? But sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and for them is to let go. It's like pruning a tree. You cut away the dead branches so new ones can grow. It hurts, but it's necessary. Now, let's get philosophical for a moment. The twin flame connection is often described as a mirror. They reflect back to you everything you need to see about yourself. The good, the bad, and the downright ugly. And when they run, it's like the mirror shatters, leaving you staring at the pieces, trying to figure out which one is you. But here's the thing. The mirror wasn't the source of your reflection. It was just the tool. The real reflection, the real you, is still there, whole and complete, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. The grief you're feeling, it's not just about losing them. It's about confronting the parts of yourself that the connection brought to light. And that, my friend, is where the magic happens. So, what do you do with all this grief? You feel it. You sit with it. You let it wash over you like a tidal wave, knowing that eventually the waters will recede. And when they do, you'll find that you're still standing, maybe a little battered, but stronger than before. You'll laugh again. You'll love again. And who knows? Maybe one day you'll look back on this moment and realize that saying goodbye was the bravest thing you ever did. Until then, be kind to yourself. Eat the ice cream. Cry if you need to. And remember, even the darkest nights end with a sunrise. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Or maybe it's more like a cosmic unicorn, because this isn't your average run-of-the-mill breakup. Cutting ties with your twin flame, especially the one who's been running, isn't just an emotional earthquake. It's a full-blown spiritual demolition. And here's the thing. When the dust settles, you're not just left with rubble. You're left with potential. It's like your soul just got handed a blank canvas and a palette of colors you didn't even know existed. Sure, it's terrifying, but it's also kind of exhilarating. You're standing at the edge of a cliff, and instead of looking down, you're looking out. The view, it's infinite. Let's get one thing straight. This isn't just about them. This is about you. The twin flame connection is like a cosmic spotlight, shining directly on all the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. And when they run, it's not because they don't love you. It's because the intensity of that spotlight is too much for them to handle right now. But here's the kicker. The spotlight doesn't go away when they do. Nope, it's still there, shining brighter than ever. And now, it's all on you. You can either close your eyes and pretend it's not there, or you can step into it and see what it reveals. Here's where it gets interesting. Separation from your twin flame isn't just a pause button on the relationship. It's a fast forward button on your spiritual growth. Think of it like this. You've been handed a spiritual syllabus, and the first chapter is titled, How to Love Yourself When the Universe Feels Like It's Testing You. It's not an easy read, but it's a necessary one. You'll start noticing patterns, old wounds, limiting beliefs, fears you didn't even know you had. And guess what? That's the point. The twin flame journey isn't just about union with another soul. It's about union with yourself. And sometimes that means going through the fire to find the gold. Now, let's get a little mystical for a second. Don't worry, I won't go full-on wizard robes and crystal balls. The concept of the twin flame is rooted in the idea of duality. Two halves of the same soul, split apart and destined to reunite. But here's the twist. The reunion isn't just about finding each other. It's about finding wholeness within yourself. When you cut ties with your twin flame runner, you're not abandoning the connection. You're honoring it. You're saying, I love you enough to let you go, and I love myself enough to stay. It's like a cosmic game of tug of war, except you're not pulling against them. You're pulling toward yourself. And that is where the magic happens. But let's not sugarcoat it. This process is messy. It's like trying to assemble IKEA furniture without the instructions. You've got all these pieces, and you're not entirely sure how they fit together, but you're determined to figure it out. And just when you think you've got it, you realize you've been holding the screwdriver upside down. We've all been there. The key is to embrace the mess. Allow yourself to feel the confusion, the frustration, the what the hell am I doing moments. Because here's the thing, every screw you tighten, every piece you fit together brings you closer to building something beautiful. And even if it's not perfect, it's yours. So What does this spiritual awakening look like in real life? It's the moments when you catch yourself smiling for no reason, just because the sun feels good on your skin. It's the nights when you cry yourself to sleep, only to wake up feeling lighter, like you've shed a layer of old skin. It's the realization that you're not just surviving this separation, you're thriving in it. You're learning to dance in the rain instead of waiting for the storm to pass. And let's be honest, dancing in the rain is way more fun. Here's the bottom line. Cutting ties with your twin flame runner isn't the end of the journey. It's the beginning of a new chapter. It's a chance to rewrite your story, not as the person who lost their other half, but as the person who found themselves. And who knows, maybe one day, when you're both ready, your paths will cross again. Or maybe they won't. Either way, you'll be okay. Because the real twin flame connection isn't about them, it's about you. And you, my friend, are a masterpiece in progress. So grab that cosmic paintbrush and start creating. The canvas is yours. All right, let's get one thing straight. Cutting ties with your twin flame runner doesn't come with a crystal ball. You don't get to peek into the future and see if they'll come back, if you'll reunite, or if they're currently binge-watching the same Netflix series as you. Though, let's be real, that would be weirdly comforting. Nope, you're left in the dark, clutching a flashlight that's running out of batteries, wondering if you're walking toward something or just stumbling in circles. And here's the kicker. That's exactly where you're supposed to be. Welcome to the mystery of divine timing, where the universe is the ultimate DJ, and you're just here to dance. Let's break this down. Divine timing is like trying to catch a train that doesn't run on your schedule. You can show up at the station early, late, or right on time. But the train doesn't care. It arrives when it arrives. And while you're waiting, you've got two choices. You can pace the platform, cursing the universe for its lack of punctuality, or you can sit down, grab a coffee, and trust that the train will get there when it's supposed to. The same goes for your twin flame journey. You can obsess over the when and the how, or you can trust that the universe has a plan, even if it feels like it's taking its sweet time. Here's the thing about divine timing. It doesn't operate on human logic. It's not linear, it's not predictable, and it definitely doesn't care about your 5-year plan. It's more like a cosmic puzzle, and every piece falls into place exactly when it's meant to. Think of it this way. If your life were a movie, divine timing would be the director, carefully orchestrating every scene to create the perfect story. And while you're stuck in the middle of Act 2, wondering if the plot is ever going to make sense, the director is sitting back, sipping tea, knowing exactly how it all ends. Frustrating? Absolutely. But also kind of beautiful when you think about it. Now, let's get real for a second. Trusting divine timing doesn't mean sitting around twiddling your thumbs, waiting for the universe to drop your twin flame back into your lap. Nope. It's an active process. It's about showing up for your life, even when it feels like you're stuck in limbo. It's about building a life that's so full and vibrant that you don't need them to complete you, because, newsflash, you're already complete. It's like planting a garden. you don't just sit there staring at the dirt, waiting for the flowers to grow. You water the soil, pull the weeds, and trust that the seeds will bloom when they're ready. And in the meantime, you get to enjoy the process. But here's where it gets tricky. Trusting divine timing requires a level of surrender that doesn't come naturally to most of us. It's like trying to float in the ocean. If you fight the waves, you'll exhaust yourself and probably swallow a gallon of salt water. But if you relax and let the current carry you, you'll find that you're exactly where you need to be. Easier said than done, right? Especially when your brain is screaming, but what if they never come back? What if I'm making a huge mistake? Here's the thing, those questions don't have answers, at least not right now, and that's okay. You don't have to have all the answers to move forward. You just have to take the next step, even if it's a small one. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the fear of being wrong. What if you cut ties and it turns out you were supposed to wait? What if you're messing up the cosmic plan? Here's a radical thought. What if there's no such thing as messing up? What if every choice you make is part of the plan, even the ones that feel like mistakes? The twin flame journey isn't a test, it's an experience. And experiences are messy, unpredictable, and sometimes downright confusing. But they're also where the magic happens. So, if you're worried about making the wrong move, take a deep breath and remind yourself, there are no wrong moves, only different paths, and every path leads somewhere. So, what do you do while you're waiting for the universe to do its thing? You live, you laugh, you love yourself, your friends, your weird neighbor who always waters their plants at 2 a.m. We all have one. You focus on the things that light you up, whether that's painting, hiking, or binge-watching reality TV. No judgment here. Sometimes you just need to watch people argue over who stole the avocado toast. You trust that the universe has your back, even when it feels like it's ghosting you. And you remember that the twin flame journey isn't just about them, it's about you. It's about becoming the person you were always meant to be, with or without them. Here's the bottom line. Cutting ties with your twin flame runner isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning of a new chapter. And while you might not know how it ends, that's part of the adventure. So relax, put on your favorite playlist, and trust that the universe knows what it's doing. After all, it's been doing this a lot longer than you have, and who knows? Maybe one day, when you least expect it, you'll look up and see them standing there, right on time. Or maybe you won't. Either way, you'll be okay, because the real magic isn't in the reunion. It's in the journey. And you, my friend, are exactly where you need to be. So, here you are, standing in the aftermath of what feels like an emotional hurricane, clutching the pieces of your heart and wondering if they'll ever fit back together. You see, this isn't about putting the old puzzle back together. It's about creating a new one where you are the centerpiece. And let's be real, that's a way better picture anyway. Who needs a twin flame when you can be your own damn fire? Let's get philosophical for a hot second. The twin flame journey isn't about finding someone to complete you. It's about realizing you were never incomplete to begin with. It's like spending your whole life looking for a missing sock, only to realize you were wearing it the whole time. The truth is, you've always been whole. The connection, the chaos, the heartbreak, it was never about them. It was about you. And now, here you are, standing on the other side of goodbye, ready to meet the person you've been searching for all along, yourself. Here's the thing about goodbyes. They're not endings. They're beginnings in disguise. Think of it like this. You're a phoenix, rising from the ashes of what once was. And sure, the burning part sucks, but the rising part, that's where the magic happens. You're not just rebuilding, you're reinventing. You're taking all the lessons, the pain, the growth, and turning them into something beautiful. And the best part? You get to decide what that looks like. Maybe it's a new career, a new passion, or just a new appreciation for the little things, like how good it feels to laugh again, even if it's at your own terrible jokes. Now, let's talk about the future. The truth is, no one knows what's coming next. Not your best friend, not your tarot reader, not even the universe itself. But here's the thing. Uncertainty isn't your enemy. It's your ally. It's the blank page in your story, waiting for you to write the next chapter. And while it might feel scary, it's also kind of exhilarating. Because the future isn't something that happens to you, it's something you create. So grab your pen, or your paintbrush, or your guitar, or whatever tool feels right, and start creating. And let's not forget the irony of it all. Cutting ties with your twin flame might feel like the hardest thing you've ever done, but it's also the most empowering. You're not just saying goodbye to them, you're saying hello to yourself. And that's worth celebrating. So throw yourself a party. Invite your friends, your dog, your weird neighbor who always waters their plants at 2 a.m. Celebrate the fact that you're still standing, still breathing, still believing in love, even if it's just the love you have for yourself.